So I went from the girl that can do anything, MIT Goldman Sachs, to suddenly basically having a physical handicap. And then I had such significant anxiety and depression because I felt useless. And so for 6 years, I cried 3 hours a day, twice a day, until finally one day I said, you know what, Winnie, people build cars from the ground up. They build computers from the ground up. Why don't you go get a medical degree and then just hack your body and put yourself back together? And that's exactly what I did.
Welcome to Tradition Breakers. I'm Mary Moses, former corporate executive turned creative entrepreneur, and each episode I bring you an inspiring person or message to help more of us in the AAPI community break free from restrictive traditions that are preventing us from going after the life that we truly desire. Let's dive in. Winnie, it's so great to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and I want to extend a heartwarming welcome to everyone who's tuning in. Make sure to give Mary 5 stars on her podcast because that really helps us a lot.
Oh my God, you're the best. And it really does. If you're listening to this and you're not subscribed yet, but you really love the content that we deliver every week, please, I would so appreciate you subscribe and leave a rating and review. That would mean the world to me. So, Winnie, I'm so excited that you're here. I absolutely love your mission, which is why I had to have you on the podcast. And Winnie's mission is to bring integrative wellness into the boardrooms and households. And is it even schools? Is that part of your goal? But basically bringing integrative wellness into these worlds where typically you're not finding them in. And it's so interesting for me to talk to you about this and for you to have this mission because I think that you give a lot of credibility and comfort to people who are sort of like the skeptics, more of like the Western medicine leaning people, because you are MIT trained in electrical engineering. You worked at Goldman Sachs. So integrative wellness or even holistic medicine wasn't really that much engrossed in your life until you had a health challenge. So I would love to start there. I would love to talk to you about what that shift was from engineering and finance to medicine and spirituality.
Yeah, so 16 years ago, when I was giving birth to my second daughter, during labor, I had a spinal injury. Now, because my spine became crooked, everything that can hurt. So imagine like shoulder pain, neck pain, lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain. And even worse is that my bladder was sitting in the wrong place. So imagine I can't really control my bladder. And if you can't sit in a chair for 10 minutes, that means no beach, no movies, and you really want to avoid the airplane at all costs. So I went from the girl that can do anything, MIT Goldman Sachs, to suddenly basically having a physical handicap. And then I had such significant anxiety and depression because I felt useless. And so for 6 years, I cried 3 hours a day, twice a day, until finally one day I said, you know what, Winnie, people build cars from the ground up. They build computers from the ground up. Why don't you go get a medical degree and then just hack your body and put yourself back together? And that's exactly what I did.
Wow. I can't even imagine what you went through because you were also experiencing this after having your child. So, oh my God, like, so walk me through that. Like, you were crying every day for 6 years, and then all of a sudden you decide to get educated in medicine. Like, it seems like so in polar opposites of the spectrum. Like, fill me in on what happened in the middle.
Yeah, I have to admit, I have a case of perfectionism where I really wanted to be the A plus mom. So after my daughter came out, I just wanted to be there for her. be the stay-at-home mom. So I did everything for her, go to all the PTA meetings. And what happened was the second her school became full time, which is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., then a light bulb went out. It's like, okay, it's time to do something with your life now. So it's almost like I neglected self care. I abandoned myself until my child was in school full time. And I'm like, well, now what about me? And so that actually was a freedom that I started to prioritize self care.
I love that. What were some of the beginning ways that you prioritize self-care? Or did you just like go all in after that happened?
Yeah, I just went all in because I was also fed up with having this physical handicap. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's be a full time medical student and a mom.
Oh my, amazing. So part of the work that you do is you help people get out of burnout, right? Um, what are the first signs you see that a high performer is heading toward burnout? And how do you help them mitigate that?
Yeah. So as I experienced before, I was giving, and I wasn't receiving. And the first sign of that is resentment. I remember that after dinner, I would listen to my ex husband play the guitar and my children play in the playroom, and I'm the only person washing dishes.
Mm,
And this idea that I'm so tired, I'm bone tired, and I'm still standing and doing everything. So, this idea of burnout is that I'm giving more than I'm receiving. So, the solution is to ask for help.
very simple. How how does one do that when there's stories stopping them from asking for help?
Yeah, the idea is actually very simple. The idea is just to simply relax the mind. And I really like to help my clients do this meditation where they picture the volume button 1 to 10 on the stereo. And they go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And as I dial the dial back from 10 to 0, the resentment goes to 0, the thinking goes to 0, and I come into this place of emptiness. So that's how we begin to rejuvenate burnout is let's charge my iPhone to 100% battery before I do dishes.
Is that how you were able to repair yourself with those
Yep,
types of exercises?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just bringing myself back into the breath and the body.
How did your time at Goldman shape how you think about success and health? Because that seems like a very type A environment.
Yes, I look at everything as an investment. I look at the efficiency and I look at the ROI. So, what that really means is just like you want to be selective about the stocks that you invest in, you want to be very selective about the way that you spend time, who you spend the time with, and what you give your energy to. So, for example, this is also why I want to tell people there's nothing woo about spirituality, right? So there's this big word called karma, and people are like, whoa, is karma? I believe, I don't believe. I said it's like this: reap what you sow. If you plant a banana tree, you're not going to get an orange. If you plant an apple tree, you're not going to get a pineapple, right? So if what you really want is an orange, then be very selective. When you go to the market, only buy the seeds that give you an orange. So it's this idea is I am looking at the outcome and what are the thoughts, speech, and action that I choose with intention to lead me to the end goal of orange.
Yes, and that requires having clarity about what you want.
Exactly.
Have you ever worked with clients who may not necessarily know what they want?
Absolutely, all the time, actually.
So how do you help them?
So I usually start from something that is very small. I teach them how to turn on their intuition. For example, a really fun game can be, what should I eat right now? Or what should I wear?
Mhm.
So, and I'm happy to teach intuition to anyone. Basically, it's this knowing in your body. So if you feel warm, if you feel happy, that's a yes. And if you feel cold or you feel like you cannot breathe, that's like a no. So one of the classic example that I help lots of women is if I have 1 hour to invest in self-care, should I go to the yoga class or should I go get a massage? Because if I choose the yoga class, what if what I really needed was body work and relaxation and not
Mhm.
pushing myself and exerting, right? But
Mhm.
if I go to the massage, what if what I really needed was to build strength and flexibility in my body? So really the classic case is what we call FOMO, fear of missing out. Like if I go to yoga, what if I'm supposed to get a massage? And what if I got a massage, I'm supposed to go to yoga? So this is a classic case of we feel overwhelmed by the amount of choices that we have right now. And bigger decisions is like, should I buy a house? Should I buy this house or that house? Should I resign from this job? Should I start a company? So what I say is practice your intuition, your inner knowing on the small things. Like, what should I put in my fried rice?
Mhm. Mhm.
So this was literally how I honed in my intuition is, okay, should I put Chinese hot sauce, Korean hot sauce, or Mexican hot sauce on my fried rice? But just really having this dialogue with the body and be like, what kind of hot sauce would make my heart sing?
Mm.
Yeah, so I started practicing on very inconsequential decisions, and now I use it for bigger decisions.
And is that the exact question that you would ask yourself? It could be hot sauce, it could be whatever. Like, what would, which X would make my heart sing?
Yes, exactly. So
Hmm.
the first step is to let go of the attachment to the outcome. I think most people have a very narrow focus, like me, like what will I get? What will I gain? What will I lose? Right? So when we come from this ego driven me, then it feels like really high stakes and it's very, very important. And one wrong move and I'm finished. So actually, if we came from what I call 30,000 feet, right? So instead of the ground zero, I come from 30,000 feet. So instead of looking at this moment to moment direction, is to come from the higher ground. And then I realized if I turn left, I will go to the beach. If I turn right, I will go into the mountains. You can't tell me that going to the beach is better or worse than going on a hike in the mountains, right? So it's really about choosing what will make your heart sing. Because if I go to the beach, I could be bitten by a shark. And if I go to the mountain, I could be bitten by mosquitoes or a snake, right? So it's really boils down to Am I making decisions out of fear?
Mm,
Or am I making decisions out of love? And if I'm making decisions from a love of, I love the ocean or I love the mountain, then guess what? I reach freedom because there's no right or wrong of choosing the beach over the mountains. It's like,
mhm.
is there right or wrong of choosing sushi over steak? Really, there isn't,
Right.
So what I find is people get decision paralysis or people get fatigue when they care too much or they're holding on too tightly to what is the right thing. So my advice to all the clients is always come from love.
Mm, that's so great. Another thing that comes up for me when you're talking about that is trust, which ties back to intuition, right? Like trusting the knowing that you have. And also, for me at least, trusting that whatever decision that I make and whatever outcome comes about it is for the good of me, of my soul's evolution. Like I have this trust and certainty that things will just be good. And I can't tell you how that has affected my mental health in such a positive way. I'm way less stressed, way less worried. And before, I used to obsess about my skin. Like obsessive. I would have all the different types of like serums and treatments, and because I would just obsess about not breaking out. And now I don't obsess over that anymore. And my skin has never looked better, in my opinion. And the thing that changed for me is cultivating trust and certainty in my higher power, which is my creator. And also, because of that, I have more trust and certainty in myself that I can make the right decisions as long as I have trust and certainty in the creator.
Yes, this is a really great topic because the way that you used to obsess with your skin is I used to obsess over my weight. So I've tried every kind of diet, low carbs and everything you can name, I have tried. Finally, during COVID, I reached a state where I can eat anything and not gain or lose weight.
Amazing.
And this one key wisdom is to do everything with gratitude. So I used to be one of these people who eat chicken breast and salad and get fat. And I would get so jealous of my girlfriends who can eat pizza and chicken wings at midnight and not get fat, right? So I felt like I spent my entire life manifesting, okay, how can I do that? So then when COVID hit, there were no eggs, no chicken, no bread, no rice, no flour on the shelves. And so I remember every meal that I cooked for my family could be the last. I remember cutting down meat consumption by 25% because there was no meat on the shelves. And I remember like I had a third of a bag of flour left, and every brownie I baked could be the last brownie. And because instead of eating with fear, guilt, and shame, like, am I going to get fat from this brownie? I ate from gratitude that I was still able to put food on the table for my family. And from that, here's the thing, because my children were home from school, I was like, okay, skip all the diets. I'm just going to eat chicken wings and pizza with my children. I'm going to eat day and night, night and day. Whenever my kids ate, I'm going to join them. 2 months later, I step on the scale and I said, okay, what's the damage here? And I found out I gained or lost 0 pounds. And the only thing that changed was that I ate every meal with gratitude. And it's so important. It's like if I fear getting fat, I'm actually manifest getting fat.
Yes.
If I have gratitude for the food, gratitude is one of the highest vibration. It metabolizes the brownies and
Yes.
and turn them into broccoli. My
Yes.
girlfriend used to say that, and I was like, wow, it really does work.
It really does. And you're so right. How you consume, how you eat, sometimes is way more important than what you eat. How
Yes.
we do things is significant and critical. And I want to just tie this all back to the concept of integrated medicine or integrative wellness, because that term integrative doesn't just mean the physical, doesn't just mean the body or the medicines that you take. It's also about wellness and medicine when it comes to how are you healing your spirit, like we've been talking about? How do you heal your mind, your emotions? So, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, I love to. So let's take weight loss for an example, because I'm sure a lot of listeners love this topic.
Yes.
So, what is integrative medicine? So, it means healing at the soul, the heart, the mind, the energy, and the body level. So, body is things that we can see and touch. So, for example, you might step on a scale, you might buy a measuring tape, you might join a program like Weight Watchers, you might count calories or carbs, you might go to the gym. So, these are at the body level. That's things that you can see and touch. So, energy is things like getting acupuncture. Because if you have a bathroom that is clogged and you cannot flush the toilet, then you're going to start building up things in the toilet, right? Not to be gross, but basically, everyone has buildup, right? We go to the dentist 2 times a year, and every time, I don't know about you, but when I go to the dentist, my hygienist find a lot of buildup from the last 6 months visit. So I tell people all the time, everyone should see an acupuncturist 6 times a year, and that's the minimum to just remove the buildup that is stored in their bones, their ligament, tendon, in their organs like heart, kidney, brain. So if you want to age gracefully and even rejuvenate, 6 months a year of acupuncture is really the bare minimum. It's like
Mhm.
hiring a professional cleaning lady to keep the circulation going. Now, you might be saying, oh, Winnie, I don't have money. But here's the thing, if you have HSA or FSA, which is health savings account or flex spending account, you can use your pre-tax dollars on acupuncture. Plus, many insurance have PPO that cover insurance or partial reimbursement. So if you're paying a lot of insurance and you're not using it, then, you know, try it. Go on Yelp, look for the nearest acupuncturist and try it.
Yes.
So that's at the energy level. Just imagine, I tell people, imagine you don't have to change your diet and exercise, but just lie on the massage table and then you start losing weight. Isn't that great?
Yeah. So, is that acupuncture is one method? Are getting massages also an energetic way of, okay, and how about Reiki?
Yeah, so all of these move energy. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that restore the balance and harmony, that is moving energy. And of course, if you don't have money for acupuncture, then you can watch qigong or yoga on YouTube and you can still move energy that way.
Yeah. Or go to classes, your nearest yoga studio. Go
Exactly.
there. Another facility that some people can take advantage of, and this depends on where they live, there's sometimes like these acupuncture schools or facilities, and they have community classes, and the rates are significantly less expensive than a private acupuncturist.
Yeah, in fact, I work at the Alhambra Medical University every Monday, and it's only $40 to
You
see
see?
me. Yeah. You can buy a package of 3 for $100 or a package of 7 for $200. It's like absolutely mind blowing how affordable this is.
Yeah. So there's definitely resources out there for you all. So that's the body
Energy.
and the energy.
Yeah.
What what's next?
So the next level is the mind.
Mhm.
Right? So the mind is, are you talking to yourself in a positive way
Mm,
or a negative way?
huge.
So I come up from an Asian background and I'm going to do my best like Asian accent, but this is how I used to talk to myself. Ay ya. How come you have no discipline? You just ate a big bag of chips and you're so lazy. You don't go to the gym every day, like ah yeah, look at your muffin top. It's like spilling over your jeans. So I feel like I grew up with a lot of ah yeah, ah yeah, ah yeah. And so I grew up with a lot of what's wrong with my body. What's wrong with the fat that is behind my bra when I hook it together? I think a lot of women can relate to that. And, what's up with this little belly that I have after I gave birth, right? So the mind is like this. We have the positive mind and we have the negative mind. Whoever you give the cookie to is what grows, right? So if I give the cookie to my negative mind, then I'm going to grow more. Ah, yeah, I look fat in the jeans. Ah, yeah, this pizza is going to make me fat. Now, if I give my energy to the positive thought, which is, I am so grateful to my body that my legs are working and I can actually go and take a walk right now. I'm so grateful that my arms are still working and
Mm.
I can carry things with my biceps. I'm so grateful for my glutes that I can still do a squat, right? So if I come from, I'm very grateful for my body just the way it is, that actually will increase my metabolism and increase my weight loss.
Mm. That is huge. And I can totally relate to that inner dialogue that you had, as you came up, as you grew up, because it's very similar to how my inner dialogue was and kind of still is. I'm still working through it, especially now because I have a daughter. So I want to be really careful as to how I train her, and because how I talk to her is how she's going to talk to herself. That's another thing. Like, if you're a parent, it's super important to be aware of these things because it's not just going to affect you, it's also going to affect your offspring.
Yeah, so what you just talk about is the heart level because the heart is the receiver. So what that means is our children is like the fish and the parents is like the fish tank,
Mm.
right? So if I vibrate, I don't like my body, my daughters are swimming in my toxic fish tank of I don't like my body. So as soon as I realize this wisdom, I'm like, okay, Winnie,
Mm.
snap, snap. You got to give up all the negative talking because I don't want to raise my daughters in a toxic fish tank.
Yeah. So, Winnie, how do you start to silence that? How do you stop giving that negative dialogue energy and start giving that to the more positive voice?
Yeah, so that's at the soul level. So let me give you a scientific definition of the soul. And I'm going to use the electrical engineering degree to
I love
explain
it.
so that people don't think the soul is some woo-woo thing. So in electrical engineering and computer science, we look at information as binary, meaning things are either 0 or 1. So if the electric circuit is complete, then when I press the button, the light bulb turns on because we can conduct electricity. So we call that a 1. If there's a break in circuit, then when I press the button, the light bulb doesn't turn on because there is no electricity being conducted. So basically, we can look at the world as a series of zeros and one, which is disconnection or connection. So once we understand this very simple concept of 0, 1, all spirituality can boil down to 0 means me, me, me. And 1 means we or oneness, right? So remember in the beginning, I talked about, okay, if I am coming from the ego, then it's like, what's in it for me? How do I look? Will I get paid? Am I going to get hurt? Right? So if all my thoughts revolve around me, and me,
Mm-hmm.
then I have a lot of zero in my vibrational field. That means
Mm.
disconnection. Now, if I come from we, come from community, come from oneness, come from what is in the highest and best interest of all the souls, then I am in the state of connection, in the state of one. So it doesn't matter what kind of spiritual practice you engage in. The purpose of spiritual practice is to transform all the zeros into one, right? So that's
Mm.
like hiring an electrician and flipping all the switch in your circuit board so that all the disconnection, all the isolation, separation, grief, anger, loneliness
Mm-hmm.
into one, which is love, forgiveness, compassion, light, gratitude, flourishing, harmony, all the good stuff.
So, spirit, soul is about connection.
Yes.
Got it. That's amazing. Um, what's your thought about this? I call it overfixation, or maybe we swung too far down, the pendulum of self-care. Because there's a
Mm.
lot of self-care and protecting my peace and protecting my energy. And I think that there's value in that. And at the same time, I think that sometimes that protecting your energy or protecting your peace is more like protecting your trauma or focusing too much on yourself, if that makes sense. What do you think about that?
That is an excellent question. One of the key is if I eat a Thanksgiving meal, try not to eat more than 80% full. No matter how good the turkey is, no matter how good the pumpkin pie or the pecan pie, get to 80% and stop. No matter I am thinking, I am doing, I am working, I'm doing yoga, I am doing any self care routine, do no more than 80%. And we want to leave some space.
Mm.
So let's take eating for the analogy. If I overeat to 100%, that actually causes my stomach stagnation. So if I overdo, then I get burnout. So that is the way of any self-care or any concept of setting boundaries. I'm going to jump ahead to one of the questions that you asked me to prepare about being Asian and setting boundaries,
Yes.
because I see so many women, breast cancer, UTI, ovarian cysts, fibroids. And really, it comes down to a lot of women forgot how to be a woman, right? So think about this. Okay, so I'm a medical doctor and I'm allowed to use the word penis and vagina because they are medical terms that you would find in the medical textbook. So, in a very medical sense, what do we want the penis to do? We want it to get hard. And what is it that we want the vagina to do? We want it to get soft, right? So, in order for us to have the connection, the one, the man gets to get hard and the woman gets to get soft. And so, when we have a society, now, of course, we don't want to let 10,000 penis into the vagina. We want to be selective,
Of
right?
course.
Have
Mm-hmm.
have clarity about who's a good partner and who's not a good partner. But at the same time, in my clinic, I end up treating a lot of women with low libido or low sex drive or infertility issues,
Mm.
where a lot of women forgot how to receive pleasure.
Mm.
They forgot how to have an orgasm. They forgot how to relax. So this is why setting boundaries is really important, but we want to be about 80% in everything that we do, because if we push it to 100%, then we end up being too hard, just like overstuffing the stomach leads to, indigestion. If we take the boundaries beyond 80% to 100%, we end up getting all these reproductive organ dysfunctions.
Wow. I never really thought about it this way because I'm very aware of the 80% when it comes to eating. Don't eat past that. That's something that is taught in Ayurveda as well. And I'm trained in Ayurvedic health. And, but I never really applied it to other things in life. But now it makes so much sense. So I'm going to be carrying that with me.
So actually, the wisdom is very simple. In the Chinese medicine, we have the 5 elements, which is wood. If you burn wood, you get fire. At the end of the fire, you get ash, which is the earth. And from the earth, you can extract the metals. And metals turn into water, and water can nourish the trees. So actually, the 5 elements is not 5 distinct states, but rather it talks about the circle of life where one is constantly generating another. So this concept is the same as new moon is followed by full moon, and full moon is followed by new moon. Day is followed by night, and night is followed by day, right? So spring is followed by summer. Summer is followed by fall, and fall is followed by winter, and winter goes back to spring. So what we actually observe is that life is a circle.
Circle.
So the more boundaries you have, the more health problems you will actually have. My teacher said, don't square your head, right? So if we put things into squares, then, we are getting stuck. So let me give a classic example. Yesterday, I treated someone with irritable bowel syndrome. So irritable bowel syndrome is where the person alternate between constipation and diarrhea. And usually the root cause is stress and frustration. And remember I said resentment, where I used to wash dishes and be like, well, why are you playing guitar and playing Lego and nobody's helping me? So I actually used to have insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, and all these actually very, very painful and heavy menstruation. And I literally have healed myself from all of this. And the wisdom is that irritable bowel syndrome is where the wood element, which is made of liver and gallbladder, is attacking the earth element, which is made of your digestive organs. So basically, when I'm stuck, I want it my way. It's my way or the highway. Okay, so when I'm stuck in my rigid thinking and my boundaries, literally the wood element inside of me is attacking the digestive system, right? So all kinds of issues like stomach ulcers, acid reflux, weight gain, anything to do with digestive disorder, a lot of it, the root cause is stress. And then you say, where does stress come from? It comes from all these boundaries and limitations that you gave yourself.
Oh my God, you're so right. It also, for me, it displays that a lot of these root causes begin not in the body, it begins in our spirit, our mind, our heart, right? So, how do you explain that to patients that you work with?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because I'll give you an example. So one time I had a lady found me on Yelp and she's like, Winnie, I have decreased eyesight for 3 months. Can you help me? I said, well, acupuncture alone, I don't know if I can help you, but if you're open to other things, then maybe we can give it a try. And she says, I'm open. So in Chinese medicine, anger impairs the liver, which is the wood element, and opens in the eyes. So basically, any eye disorder is traced back to the anger. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
remember, we see the aya, aya, aya. So if
Mm-hmm.
I see the wrong in people, I'm literally making myself blind because the body wants to shut down your vision so that you don't see what's wrong and make anger in your liver. Think about this.
Wow.
So my client comes and I said, okay, here's the situation. What is the thing that pissed you off the most 3 months ago? Which is the onset of her decreased eyesight. And she said, you know, it's funny, Winnie, you asked me this because my sister decided to set a boundary with me and gave me the silent treatment. And I was so angry because who is she? The judge? Why does she get to decide whether we can talk to each other? In that moment, I said, boundaries, our favorite topic. So I said, here's the two choices that you can make. Option one, you have every right to be angry at your sister because you're right. Who is she? The judge? Why does she get to decide on the boundaries? B, you're going to forgive your sister. And you're going to ask your sister for forgiveness because you must have said something that pissed her off and made her to set boundaries with you. I said, if you choose option B, you're going to get your eyesight back. And then she paused for a moment and she said, I choose option B. I said, good choice.
I love that. So then what happened?
So she only received one session with me. And then I gave her a forgiveness mantra and practice where she put one hand over the heart and one hand over the lower abdomen. And I said, just like you brush teeth 2 times a day, you're going to do forgiveness 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night. 30 days later, she texted me and said, Winnie, my eyesight is fully recovered.
I love that.
Yeah, but I have to say I can't claim credit because she has to choose
Yes.
to
And she
heal.
has to do the work too.
And she has to do the work. Yes,
Yeah.
she put in the 15 minutes 2 times a day.
Yeah. Oh, can we do me?
Yes.
I have these headaches and I call them migraines. My doctor has called them tension headaches. I don't really know. They used to be very bad, like I would get them all the time, but now I hardly get them. But when I do, it's usually because I'm about to get sick or perhaps I'm stressed. What do you think it could be?
Okay, that is a really good awareness, right? So when we get a migraine headache, it's not that something is wrong with you, but rather, that movie, You've Got Mail. That's like your body sending you a text message and said, help me, I need help. So I train all of my patients rather than fearing the pain is to listen to the pain, to pause and slow down and have a conversation with the pain. So the first thing I would ask my patient is it a forehead? Is it the temporal? Is it on the top of the head, or we call it the occipital in the back? Because in traditional Chinese medicine, there are different meridians. So picture Google Maps, right? So there's the 405 and the 10. We live in Los Angeles, for the audience out there. So there are different highways out there. So imagine your body has these pipes. That's why I literally call myself the plumber, right? So depending on where the headache is, it actually tells you what is the traffic jam, like which road is it. So that's why you do acupuncture, because acupuncture can divert the traffic jam in your body.
Mm.
So you pointed to the temporal, and that is what we call a gallbladder channel. So the gallbladder channel is the wood element,
Ooh.
you know. So, and what's really interesting is that the gallbladder channel is yin yang paired with the liver. So think about the gallbladder and liver as husband and wife. And menstruation and the female hormones, a lot of that is related to the wood element. So let me talk about the healthy state of the liver gallbladder. The healthy state of the liver gallbladder is freedom, freedom. So basically, when your soul feels free and liberated, then you will not have any migraine headache.
Wow.
So, where is the gallbladder and the liver located? It's behind the rib cage, isn't it?
Hmm.
So the rib cage literally look like the prison. There's like bars. So basically, when you feel trapped in this stress, I want it my way. Okay, if you want it my way, but not the other way, then the liver gallbladder is like a tiger pacing in the cage.
Mm.
And that's why you have the migraine headache.
That makes so much sense. I had a feeling it was because I was trying to control things the last
Yes.
time I had it. And I just let it go. Um, and I love what you said about having a conversation with your pain, because I think that's what I did. That's how I even came to the conclusion of I just need to let go of whatever it is I'm trying to control. Um, Thank you. That was great.
That that is a very good insight. And so there's one more thing is that for all the listeners out there, if you ever have migraine headache, just remember this. You want your tendon to be soft and you want your muscles to be strong. What does that mean? Tendon is associated with the wood element. So basically, the wood element is also the judge. So we say in Chinese medicine, the liver is the judge. So what we want is the judge that is soft. We want the tendon to be soft. And then meanwhile, the digestive organ, it also is related to the muscles of the body. And we want strong muscles. So what does it mean is that the digestive organ is impaired by overthinking and worrying. So instead of overthinking and worrying, I'm going to pull a Nike here. Just do it. It's like instead of thinking, oh, how many reps of squats and lunges am I going to do? Don't think how many reps I'm going to do. Just show up to the gym and let the teacher tell you. If the teacher say 20, just give 20, right? Don't think,
Hmm.
am, am I going to hurt the next day? Am I going to be able to walk up and down the stairs tomorrow? Just no thinking. Just do it.
Yes, just do it. Yes, stop thinking, stop worrying, and just do it.
Just
Um,
put in the reps, put in the reps, put in the reps. That's really important. It's the repetition.
yes, this is so helpful and very relevant to the workplace too, and just overall manifestation, right? When you're trying to create something or execute on a project, it's so important to not worry about whether or not things will turn out right or if I can't do this. So this isn't just about like your health, this is also about your finances, your career, your livelihood. Um, which is an area that you also work in because you talk about bringing integrative medicine like this into the workplace. So, how do you start to talk to people in that corporate setting or in that work setting and give them this knowledge in order for them to actually elevate in their performance?
So the soul is a database. So a database is like an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm sure all the audience listening have seen an Excel spreadsheet. So the database works like this. What data you put in is what data you can get out. So if I put positive information into my database, which is love, light, compassion, generosity, gratitude, when I pull something out of my database, then I just have all this gratitude, love, peace, harmony. And the reverse is also true. If I put, ayah, 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 why is this person slow? I've trained you for 3 months and you still can't get this project. Okay, so if I come with frustration or fear, how am I going to pay rent? It's COVID just hit, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if I have all this, what's going to happen in the age of AI? If I allow myself to put negative information into my Excel spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
guess what is going to happen? So manifestation is not a woo-woo thing. It's basically what you put into your Excel spreadsheet is what you're going to get out.
It's like the karma that you were talking about earlier.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah. So, what can someone do who is super worried? Like you were talking about affirmations that you gave to your patient who was experiencing trouble in her eyesight. What can someone who has these negative thoughts, what kind of exercises can they do? Is it like writing gratitudes every night, affirmations? Tell me.
So literally, this just happened. So I have a social media channel and my team, they produce very high quality videos. They're really nice content, but they don't focus on the technical side, which is programming all the SEO and the backend so that the YouTube algorithm can pick it up.
Hmm.
So then the number of subscribers and views are very low. So, there are two ways to be a boss, right? One way is, how come you can't do this? Go figure this out. And then the other way is how I run my meeting is I give them a song. So I'm going to actually sing for everybody right now, just like I opened the meeting for all of my employees, okay? And the lyrics is, I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. Because what I know is that whatever 2026 SEO game, which of course we know YouTube changes the algorithm every 3 months, they need to be in love, peace, harmony, and not fear of the changing algorithm in order to keep up, right? So
Hmm.
this is what I do for my employees.
Mm.
I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. And I sing until I feel everyone is really grounded. And then we talk about, okay, let's look at how many views, how many subscribers you have. And then
Mm.
one time I have another employee, she had so much anxiety. It does happen. People have diarrhea and they go to the hospital. And so I sing, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. So I basically all the time, it's like our children and our employees, our team members are trees. We
Mhm.
get to give them the water, the fertilizer, the love, the sunshine so that they can grow, right? So, one of the key things about not burning out is I can't be controlling, right? I got to
Yeah.
delegate to everyone. But rather than just delegate and pray and hope for the best, is I continue to nourish all the team members as if they were my own children.
I love that. I'm gonna attend your team just for the song parts from now on. Your team meetings. Well, Winnie, this has been so amazing. I can talk to you all day. Um, so I want to ask you, is there anything that we didn't get to that you want to make sure that you leave our audiences with today?
Yeah, what I want to say is choose a positive affirmation. So there is a brain study that says that no matter how bad you feel, if you lift the corners of your mouth, your body will start producing the hormones that make you feel good. So, you know, at the peak of my anxiety and depression, I used to not be able to tolerate, why is that person so love and light? It's really annoying. Like, how can she be so positive all the time? And what I want to impress upon the audience is this. I've had every kind of sexual trauma, immigration trauma, divorce and parental alienation, all kinds of challenges, business dissolution, everything. And it's not that I'm faking my love and light, it's that I am really smart about what I put into my Excel database, right? So I really hold on to that no matter what the situation is, no matter how dark the night is, that as long as I keep putting in the repetition, the sun will come,
Mm,
the tides will turn,
mm.
right? So no matter where you are, how big the challenge is, it's like keep doing what you know is the good thing, right? So eating right, going to the gym, meditating. And so I have this breathwork class. It's 7 a.m. Pacific time, 5 days a week, where we start every day charging you to 100%, right? Because just like I wouldn't dream of starting my day without 100% battery on my phone, I don't start my day unless my love is at 100. My patience, my kindness, my generosity, my gratitude. I make sure all of me is at 100 because I am the fish tank, right? It's like the law of the lid. If I'm a 10, then my employees have a chance to be a 10. My children have a chance to be a 10. If I show up as a 5, then my children and my employees, their mental health is capped at 5. So I really, say to all the people out there, whether you're a parent or you're a teacher, a doctor, an entrepreneur, a CEO, it's like think about your responsibility of charging yourself to 100%.
So it's okay to reach 100% in that regard, not the 80%.
Yeah, so, that is a really good thing. It's because when I charge my phone to 100, I don't actually keep it 100. By the end of the evening, who has 100% on their battery, right? So it's kind of like, of course, all this, you know, science about don't charge your battery to 100, it will shorten your life. But nonetheless, it's like I would say most people go to work with 100% battery on their iPhone.
Well, Winnie, how can people work with you?
Yes, heartcenter.la, that is our website. And we actually offer a free group healing every Wednesday night. So you can subscribe to the newsletter and check us out. And if you're really committed to whether it's a weight loss program or you have any chronic health issues, welcome you to book a free discovery call, 15-20 minutes. And let's just have a conversation and continue this kind of talk just like I did with Mary.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Winnie, for being here, for giving me and my audience such helpful and needed wisdom, and also practical tips that we can all utilize right away. So I'll make sure to put all of your information in the show notes. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you next time here on Tradition Breakers. If you like this episode, consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a rating and review. Tradition Breakers is produced by Tasty Sounds, and the theme music is by DJ Professor Moses.